She was admired by thousands, praised for her beauty, loved for her warmth. But one night, she never came home. What began as a simple missing persons case would soon reveal a truth far more disturbing. This is the true story of Stefanie Pieper.
This video demo is the property of VL Tape Society.
Stefanie Pieper was 31 years old. She was originally from Austria, and she lived a life many people dreamed of. A professional model, a beauty influencer, a music content creator. On social media, Stefanie shared skincare routines, beauty tips, and videos of herself singing. Her followers admired not only her appearance, but her personality. She was described as kind, friendly, easy to talk to. Brands enjoyed working with her. Photographers trusted her professionalism. Which is why, when Stefanie suddenly failed to appear at a scheduled photo shoot, people knew something was wrong. At first, everyone tried to stay calm. The night before, Stefanie had attended a party with friends. They had stayed out late, almost until midnight. So her coworkers assumed the simplest explanation. Maybe she was exhausted. Maybe she overslept. Maybe her phone battery died. They tried calling her. No answer. They sent messages. Nothing. Concern slowly replaced optimism. So they contacted Stefanie's family. And that was when fear truly set in, because her family hadn't heard from her either. One of Stefanie's co-workers, a photographer, decided to go directly to her apartment. When he arrived, his worry deepened. He knocked on the door, called her name, again and again. No response. What troubled him most was not just Stefanie. She lived with her dog, Marlo. If Stefanie was unconscious or worse, the dog could be trapped inside, alone, unable to eat, unable to drink. The photographer contacted the authorities. They arrived shortly after, and that's when something unexpected happened. As officers approached the apartment, they encountered a man unlocking the door, calm, unhurried. He introduced himself as Patrick, Stefanie's ex-boyfriend. Patrick explained that he still had a spare key. According to him, Stefanie often asked him to take care of Marlo whenever she was busy or out of town. At the time, his explanation sounded reasonable. Authorities allowed him to open the door. Inside the apartment, Marlo was found alive and unharmed, but Stefanie was nowhere to be seen. When questioned, Patrick claimed he had no idea where she was. There was no immediate reason to detain him. Stefanie was officially declared missing. A missing person report was issued. Her photos were shared across media outlets. Search efforts began, but investigators soon discovered something disturbing. A neighbor came forward. The night Stefanie disappeared, they had heard loud arguments coming from her apartment. Raised voices, anger, sounds of a struggle. This was no longer just a missing person case. The investigation changed direction. Authorities began retracing Stefanie's final hours. They questioned friends who had attended the party with her. That's when one detail stood out. A message Stefanie had sent that night. A message that, in hindsight, felt like a warning. She wrote that someone was in the stairwell, that she felt like she was being followed, that she couldn't clearly see who it was. She told her friend she would contact building security. Then, silence. At the time, her friend didn't report it. She believed Stefanie was safe. That decision would later haunt her. Investigators reviewed CCTV footage from the apartment building, and there it was. A man entering Stefanie's apartment on the night she vanished. Later, the same man was seen leaving, carrying a large object wrapped in fabric, large enough to be a human body. The footage was unclear, but the man's build, his movements, matched Patrick. Authorities began to focus on Stefanie's past relationship. They spoke with her family, and the truth came out. The breakup had not been peaceful. Stefanie had loaned Patrick a significant amount of money he struggled to repay. Arguments followed. Resentment grew. During one confrontation, Patrick reportedly said, "You've ruined everything." Stefanie replied, "Then we're done, but return my money first." Their relationship ended there. Cold. Final.
Patrick now had a clear motive: money, pride, resentment. When police attempted to summon him for questioning, they discovered he had fled the country. Suspicion turned into certainty. An international search began.
According to Patrick's later confession, the night Stefanie disappeared was not spontaneous. It was planned. After the party ended, Stefanie returned to her apartment alone. She believed the night was over. She believed she was safe. But Patrick was already there, waiting. Patrick hid inside the apartment building, in the stairwell, in the shadows. When Stefanie entered the building, she sensed something was wrong. She felt eyes on her. That was when she sent the message to her friend. The message that would later become a silent cry for help. Before Stefanie could reach security, Patrick confronted her. Inside the apartment, the argument exploded. Patrick demanded his money back. Stefanie refused. She told him the relationship was over, that he had no right to be there. Voices rose. Anger turned physical. Patrick later claimed he lost control, but investigators would reject that explanation. What happened next required intent. Patrick attacked Stefanie. The struggle was violent. Furniture was knocked over. Neighbors later described hearing shouting and movement. Stefanie fought back, but she was smaller, weaker. Within minutes, the fight was over. Stefanie was dead inside her own home, the place she believed was her safest space. What happened after the murder revealed the most disturbing part. Patrick did not call for help. He did not panic. He cleaned. He thought. He planned. He searched the apartment until he found a suitcase. Large, sturdy, originally meant for travel, now repurposed for something unthinkable. Patrick folded Stefanie's body to make it fit. The process took time. Time he spent alone with what he had done. No witnesses, no interruption. Once the suitcase was closed, he waited until the building was quiet, until movement in the hallway stopped. Late that night, Patrick carried the suitcase out of the apartment. Security cameras captured everything. Him struggling with the weight, stopping briefly to adjust his grip, then disappearing into the darkness. At that moment, Stefanie Pieper officially left her home for the last time.
Patrick drove for hours, crossing borders, putting distance between himself and the crime scene. Eventually, he abandoned the suitcase in a remote area, hidden, out of sight. He believed no one would ever find it.
But disappearances don't stay quiet. The missing person case intensified. Media coverage grew. Patrick's face was now everywhere. Police traced his movements, phone records, border crossings, financial activity. He was running, and he was running out of time. Patrick was finally located in another country, in a parking area, trying to burn his own car. Investigators believe he was attempting to destroy evidence. He was arrested without resistance, extradited back to face justice. During interrogation, Patrick initially denied everything. Then, slowly, piece by piece, the truth surfaced. He confessed. He led authorities to the location of the suitcase. When officers opened it, they found Stefanie's body, cold, silent, compressed into something that was never meant to hold a human life. The discovery shocked the public. Media coverage exploded. Photos of Stefanie flooded the internet. Her followers mourned someone they felt they knew personally. A life once shared daily online, now reduced to headlines. The trial was swift. The evidence was overwhelming. CCTV footage, witness testimony, digital records. Patrick sat silently as the prosecution laid out the timeline. He did not look at Stefanie's family. When asked why he did it, his answers were vague. Anger, desperation, fear of losing everything. None of it mattered. Patrick was convicted of murder, sentenced to life imprisonment. The judge described the crime as calculated, cruel, and irreversible. No sentence could return what was taken, only prevent it from happening again. Stefanie Pieper was laid to rest by her family. Her social media accounts were left untouched, a frozen archive of a life that ended too soon. Comments still appear to this day, from followers, from strangers, from people saying goodbye to someone they never met. This case is not just about murder. It is about trust, about how danger does not always come from strangers. Sometimes it comes from someone who once said they loved you. Someone who knew your routines, your weaknesses, your home. This has been VL Tape Society, and this was the true story of the Suitcase murder. A reminder that the most terrifying crimes do not always begin with hatred. Sometimes they begin with a relationship that refuses to end.